there was quite a life going on before Corky, BC. And Joyce is one of those that can tell stories about it. And so it's so exciting to have somebody in the house that knows you and loves you anyway. Joyce is an excellent speaker. When I met her, she was still teaching at Women's Studies. She walks her talk. She's a wonderful psychic. If you're ever looking for somebody over in Santa Cruz, you want to go visit. And she touches other realms in such a beautiful way. But mainly what she does is touch our heart. Please welcome everybody.
Yay! Uh-oh, now you're going to have to do it.
Missy, Joyce,
Oh, it's on. It's on.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Can you tell these ones from one BC from Sweden?
I won't go nowhere near that.
I've heard a few.
I see. I know. She knows what I was doing.
That's okay, she forgot.
I did. I turned 57 and forgot. 56, huh?
Wow.
Gosh, the baby. So, it's always a pleasure to come over. We don't get to come over as often as we would like, but we do come over. And when we do, it's always like we were here all the time. That's a blessing. You know, when someone holds you in their heart, it doesn't matter whether you're in the house or not. You're in the heart. And we have to remember that. And I hold a lot in my heart. And sometimes it brings me to anger. I've had to work on that. It brings me to love and forgiveness, compassion, and then words that I have to put money in the swear jar for. Yes, I have 2 swear jars. So for those of you who are conservative, one will do. But I like my swear jars. So, I was sitting watching a Giants baseball game one night, and which led to what's in a name. I'm watching all the players with names that represented their culture, whether they were American born or immigrated here, came over on baseball contracts, whatever. There are all these names. And I am looking at diversity of culture right there on the television. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's something out of whack with this picture. And that is when I felt such a deep pain. And I was talking with Patty about it, and she's looking at me, waiting for me to say what I was saying. And I said, it has occurred to me, I do not have a name that wasn't given through slavery. There it is. I do not. As much as I love my daddy, I would never disrespect his name. But my name, my last name, isn't African that I know of. I haven't been able to find it. It isn't something that was chosen. It was a name that was taken on after slavery so you could have a last name. Because a last name was so important, because everyone had owned my ancestors had last names. And so Brown came from the person who owned my father's father's fathers, however many generations it goes back. And that's the case with nearly all 45 million African Americans in this country. We don't have that identity of culture attached to the name. That was very important. I've flirted with this for a number of years, and it got me so upset that I had to leave it alone. I was writing on this topic, and I found myself going back into history. So here's the deal. I have 2 degrees in, well, actually I have How many do I have? 4. And 2 of those are master's degrees in history, Southern and African. I haven't really used it in years. But when I used it, I used it. Gotten into a lot of trouble, but I used it. When I quit school, I was in a program where I was studying to get my PhD. And then I was blacklisted because of my color by the history department and affiliates. Okay, fine. I walked away from that and went out and did all kinds of fun stuff, including teaching in open schools, administrating programs at UC Santa Cruz, teaching classes in the Women's Studies department, assisting others to find their way. That was okay. I made some tough choices, but I stood by them. I will stand by my choices. I will stand by you. That's just my nature. When I look back at my history, it was all around what it was I was able to do in spite of what others may have thought of me, or how I may have been seen simply because of the color of my skin. And then there's that name part. My name is something that was taken on so my ancestors could have a sense of identity. So I don't disrespect the name. I just don't like how it happened. You see, that a whole group of people, 15 million or more that survived, had their names taken, language taken, families taken, identity, sense of self, being free, reduced to property. And then we get free. People love Lincoln. I have issues with him. But I won't go into my issues, but I do. The freedom came, but there were no names. The names were Brown and Jones and Jackson and Johnson and all the rest of the names that were of every other culture. Individuals who chose to go back and change their names to African names did so, which is perfectly fine. We have those rights. So we have to take a look at what's in a name. It's very important. People don't get it because we're so accustomed to having a name. We have a family name. If you look back at it, you might discover there's some interesting history in your family's name. Where you came from, what they did. Bootleggers.
Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. Cattle rustlers.
Yoo-hoo!
Come on now, don't y'all be sitting there acting like everybody else. Come on. Out there doing stuff.
I
Because,
just found out one of my ancestors was a riverboat gambler.
see?
Yay!
Yes, I'm talking to you. And so, we have some fun stuff there. There's some painful stuff there. There is some amazing truths. What you may take for granted, I don't. If you don't, that's okay too. If you do, that's okay too. You don't need my approval. I'm just letting you know what works for you works. Okay? What worked for me was to not to be so angry that I could not go and be the person, not the name, though I respect my father's name. Because you know how I feel about him, so I wouldn't be messing with that. It didn't stop me from being me. But here's the question. What do you think it would be like in this country if every descendant of slavery of any kind carried the name of their ancestors and culture? How would this country then look? What would people do? How would they respond to me? Would there be a different response because my name says something different than my color? or maybe it doesn't. But what would the response be? People don't think about that. We're accustomed to things going along the way that it does. So, back in the day when I was, well, just being myself really, I was tutoring a young woman who was French African, and she was very proud of her name. And she was having a hard time fitting in because she was different, though she was born in the United States. She was having a hard time. And she didn't know quite what to do with it. I said, well, can you just be yourself? This is your name. She says, but I am so different. I said, no, your name is different. Your name isn't like mine. Your name isn't Joan or Jackson or Smith. So when someone says your name and you walk in the door, they don't expect to see you. They expect to see someone whom they associate with being French. You see? Names carry the signature. It really does. So I looked over it. I wound up writing 15 pages, 20 pages. I said, seriously. I said, if I take that, I'm not going to look at it. And then if I look at it, I will look at like 3 lines. And then where will I be? Giving you a history lesson. And I didn't want to do that. But I did want to talk to you the way I am to say, take a good look at your own self. And see how that has affected you as a person. And also how it affects you spiritually. We are affiliated in this country by everything. Everything from the churches you go to the clothes you wear, to where you live, okay? To whatever it is that you practice that may have been handed down. We are affiliated. And we have drawn some amazing boundaries based on these affiliations. I had someone tell me once that I didn't speak right. Well, you know, I thought I was clear. And they kept at me. I said, do you understand me? And they said, yes. I said, then I'm speaking just fine. And that person never spoke to me again.
Yay! Lucky you.
And part of that was this person wanted me to be their image of me. So if I want to speak broken English, I can. I want to go back and get in Mississippi for a minute, I can. If I want to use all of that loans I took out to go to school English, I can. It's all in there. But what I like best is just being me. Whatever word comes out, that's it. I said, oh, I should bowl. All right.
Swear jar.
Oh, and when it has 3 sounds to it, you're going up into the dollars. I've been known.
Compound names.
Oh. Oh, yeah. But I'm better now.
We know more words?
I know how to use one word now to make it sound like a lot. It comes with practice. So what I wanted to share with you today is this. Names carry such an amazing gift. It's how we use it. But sometimes when you're looking at it, it may not feel so good in the moment because you're tracking down a history of how your name came to be and all the things your families won't tell you that you go find out by yourself. And you go, oh my gosh, you're telling me we did that? So the woman who said to me, my family owned slaves, I thought, I don't know what kind of discussion she was supposed to have with me. So I said, yeah, okay. I said, and what's the point? I thought I wouldn't have a lot of discussion with her, because at the moment I wanted to hit her upside the head. It was in my younger days where violence went along with violence.
You have a jar for that?
No. That would be like here. This one is about. But I wanted to know why. I asked, I said, so what's your point? She says, well, somehow I didn't fit the picture. And I said, how come I don't fit the picture? I was educated. Okay? So this person saw me not as my name, but as my color, and the fact that I had gone to the university and I had quote unquote an education, that somehow I didn't fit the picture that she held in her consciousness, in her life, as to what I was to be. So you have to move beyond the assumptions of what your name really means. It has to have a meaning for you. That'll bring you to your spiritual self, to your pride, to your love, to your integrity. It'll bring you everything. But sometimes you need to know where the name came from. You really do. You know? And so when you take on names to sound good, to sell records and all of that, fine. You want to be named after a dog, go for it. You want to be named after the sounds of things, go for it. It is just not where I would take myself because of how I see myself as a person. It's just me. I understand that. We have to have a sense of respect, because I tell you something, the name that you take on and you claim it's yours, that's how you act. I haven't met anybody who didn't, who took on some name that gave them, they were tough and they were swagger, male, female. They were out there acting that way. When you take on a name, or you change your name, go for a name that fits you, that brings that respect to you, brings your spiritual self to the light, so that when you are out there working with other people, you are not coming from this inner rage and anger. You're coming from an inner peace and love. Because that's how you're treating you. And that's how you will treat others, regardless or irrespective of how they may treat you. It is how you carry yourself. So when I trash me, why would I expect for you to not to trash me? Because I am vibing that out like I am not worthy. I don't deserve. All in all, I become the total of what it is that I do. But all of this started with the Giants. with me watching this game and realizing that I had a name that I didn't have anything to do with having. My father did, my mother did. But that name came out of my ancestors being property. You really have to look at it from that perspective. This is not about feeling guilty or any of that trash, because it don't work. It really don't. I've yet to know guilt work. It doesn't. All guilt does is have me say to you, I don't do guilt and pity, so I'm not the person. Hello? Okay. But I will treat you with respect. But sometimes you need to dig a little deeper. And when you do, you will have a greater sense of why there are so many angry people in this country. And you will understand why there are so many people in this country being treated poorly. Because there's an association to color and what you get to do. And somewhere along the line, the people who are being mistreated do not carry names in which they have any pride at all. I don't believe they do. Because if you have some pride in your name, you're going to treat yourself differently and not believe the BS we've been told. We really won't believe it. To this day, people don't like the Irish. I don't know what the Irish did, but whatever it was, people are ticked off. Okay? If you're Scottish, if you're German, you're Dutch, you're Polish, you're Italian, okay? You're one of the Spanish-speaking countries, you're Portuguese. I have a friend who hates Portuguese. She said they started slavery, so there was no way for her to go with the Portuguese, but to there. You're Catholic, Presbyterian, Baptist, Methodist. It's an amazing thing how many names are associated with groups and cultures. And then people hate. And then you have to pay attention to that. That's a waste.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you treating you? I found my respect and integrity in my name, but it doesn't mean I don't hurt because of how it came to be for profit and all of the atrocities. And guess what? All of the atrocities are still happening to people around the world for profit. And even though this may be happening in their own indigenous countries, but it is being done because their names are not associated with the prophet. You see? Because if it was, you couldn't be doing what you're doing. Their names and their color is associated still with the mentality of enslavement and colonialism. So you have to look at it from a perspective of history. When you begin to look at history, it changes how you see the world and realize it is based on an act that was designed for profit. It really was. And Africans weren't the only group enslaved. Muslims, Christians, all kinds of groups. And so it's just it's a system. But for myself, I took it on the personal slant of, wait a minute. My name is Joyce Brown. Actually, I have a big C in the middle. Southerners, I don't know what that's about. Joyce C. Brown. That's my name.
So the C doesn't stand for anything except
See?
the initial C. Okay.
It's a C. I have a name there, but it wasn't there. Joyce C. Brown. That's my name. How I use the name defines me. How I treat the name enhances me, encourages me, gives me a sense of pride in me. But if I degrade my name through my thoughts and my actions and my deeds, then it really doesn't matter what your name is. What matters is what your behavior and attitudes are. So I've chosen to go into a place of how I treat myself is more important than what someone else may think about me. But the history will always be there. That's the key. And when you know that, it tells you how to conduct yourself and how to see other people. Do not assume. People make it all the time. People make assumptions by the way I look. They assume that I'm diabetic. I thought that was interesting. I go to see, they say you're diabetic. I said, no, are you? And they go, oh, now they're all embarrassed. I said, I'm a big woman. Does that mean that I'm L? Oh, they don't know what to do with that. See, there are always assumptions. Okay? Always assumptions. And those assumptions tend to not to be correct. So if you're making assumptions that are not correct, you want to stop doing that the best you can and get to know someone like you do here in this beautiful place through love, family, and friendship. That is what the theme has been about. Let's spread that out today. And so I just wanted to share with you this little piece of me that came up that left a profound impact on me. It really did. I don't know if anybody in my entire family, there was 12 of us at one time. Of my siblings, there were 10. There's 5 of us now that are surviving siblings. And I doubt very seriously if anyone has ever thought about their name as other than being Brown or whatever name. Well, yeah, we're still all last name Browns. I doubt if anyone has ever thought about it. And I really do believe that if I was to mention it to them, I would get looked at like, what are you talking about? What? What are you talking about? And I would say, have you ever thought about the fact how we got the last name? And they'd probably tell me no. Because it's not something people think about. It's just who we are. It's our name. It's a part of our identity. But it hit me that day when I saw such a diversity on the TV screen of individuals who are bringing their culture with them, no matter where they go. But that's not what I take with me no matter where I go. It isn't. I take it with me because I have it, but I don't take it with me because my name reflects it. My name reflects German, I think Irish, Scottish, English, all those names. That's what it reflects. It doesn't reflect anything to do with Africa other than slavery. That's a really big thing. And then you have to find your peace. I have my peace, but I told you when I first started writing the notes, I was just so fired up I couldn't work for I couldn't work, and I said, oh, hello. I didn't even think about that for years, and then everything flooded. And then I found my peace yesterday. Yay. I came to wonderful peace. And Patty says, are you going to copy your notes? I said, no, I don't read them anyway. I said, I got my little card. What does my little card say? Oh, it says, go. There you go. Let's get down to that. Let's get down here. What's in a name? That's what it says. It says.
Covered that.
Okay. When I curse me, I become that curse. When I say to me, I am ignorant, stupid, not worthy to be in a relationship, to have what I desire, I become that. So instead of the desire, we receive the curse, which becomes the emotional feelings associated with it. We act on that. I can't do things because I'm not smart enough, or I'm not something enough. Whatever it is we're doing to ourselves on a daily basis, we look in the mirror and go, oh. I'm thinking, well, what do you see when you look in the mirror? You're not 18 anymore. But there are individuals who want to be 18, so it's called plastic surgery. Oh, big time, because there are some people who are living on the top of the hill from you not having a face that will function. But that's okay, that's their choice. My choice is I look in the mirror and I say, well, hey, how you doing? And I say, I am here looking in the mirror. Where's my neem oil? I'll rub some stuff on my skin. So what we believe is what we become. That becomes your name. You see, you have to understand, the name isn't just my name is Brown or your name is whatever it is. Your name becomes what you call you. It really does. And how you see yourself, that becomes your name as well. And when you put it together and you say, well, also my name is what other people think about me. I said, mine isn't. I tell you straight to your face, you can think whatever the heck you want. It's what I think. It's what I feel and what I know about me that makes it different. But when I allow for someone else to define me, that is what undermines me and discourages me. And this is when I go into fear and pity and hate. And when you go into fear, pity, and hate, you are sunk. It just hurts you. And then you turn on you. And you just we turn to where we can do damage. Most people cannot go out and do damage outside, but they surely can do it on the inside. So what's in a name is what you want your name to be. I came to that decision. Got me through it. I'm telling you, Corky. It was a biggie.
Hallelujah, sister.
Got me. Well, wait, arm's not high enough.
I'll stand.
What's in a
Yours.
name? Hello. What's in a name really is what you want your name to be. But I had to, for myself, reflect a little bit. And I came to this place. My name is what I want my name to be.
And what is that?
I decided, I haven't changed my name, but what I put on the end of my name was Joyce Brown Sudan.
Sudan?
Sudan. I like the name. It came up from nowhere. I heard Sudan. I said, that sounds good. I have a friend who's becoming Mali. She likes Mali. I was talking with her about it. She has a wonderful name. She says, oh, I like it. When I say Joyce Brown Sudan, I feel different. It's the truth. You just do. There's a whole different vibe goes out. There's a whole different energy goes out. I could have chose music. Seriously. I could have chose sunlight, moonlight. I could have chose anything. But the name that came to me was Sudan. And I like it. I haven't figured out how to integrate it, what I'm going to do with it. Will I change my little cards and I'm Joyce Brown Sudan now? I don't know. Is it just a personal, something I share with you? I don't know. But I know I feel good. So I just wanted to share that with you and just say to you, let your name carry you with all the love and pride that you have inside of you. But it is surely not going to be what someone chooses to call you. It really isn't your name. It's their name. You see, it's their name. It's not mine. It's their name. And if you think about it, you'll get what that means. Thank you.
Hey.
Joyce, I have